This video is only part of an unpaid, unbiased, in-depth review from an average rider's perspective, so check out the rest in the link below at thegoodride.com. If this video helps, please consider subscribing and buying through our links, or even better, become a member on YouTube or Patreon. You'll get exclusive access to video review shorts as we test gear, along with a lot of other perks. So thanks for watching, and I hope this review helps. Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and this is the Jones Tweaker, new for 2023. We got some other Jones twins next to it as well, the Jones Mountain Twin and the Mind Expander Twin. One thing though, the Mind Expander Twin's top sheet is not ready for prime time. It's gonna look a lot better in production, and it's not gonna be a scuff magnet like it is now. I will be occasionally referencing the Mountain Twin and Mind Expander Twin throughout this review, but this tweaker sits in its own world, and I rode this primarily with Union Atlas and Burton Kendos, but I got some time with the Jones Christensen, and I rode it in some good groomers and some spring groomers. And to give you a short summary, the Jones Tweaker is the first kind of freestyle park flexing board that they've made. It's a true twin, not a directional twin like the Jones Mountain Twin and the Mind Expander Twin that you see next to it that have slightly longer nose than tail, a setback on board. This tweaker is made to ride centered. You never set it back, you don't do anything with it. You ride it centered, you ride it duck, and you take it in the park, but it's got a good mountain freestyle aftertaste. As you know, if you've seen a lot of these reviews, this body just can't handle the park anymore and ride as many days as I ride. So I mainly treated this as a mountain freestyle board, and I had a great time with it. It's very poppy with that full camber. It has that spoon nose and tail, so it doesn't feel too unforgiving, and it just has this really fun turning experience in softer snow, and it's got good pop and just good butterability, and it was just a very playful, very fun, poppy, energetic ride that I had a pretty good time on. And when it comes to sizing, this 56 felt right. I'm a little heavy for it, and it was a little easier for me to flex it than it should be because I'm at 185 to 195 pounds, but it fit my size 9 boots really well, and I liked how it just worked for my specs, and at 5'10", it wasn't a problem either. And it matched up with me really well, just like it did with the Jones Mountain Twin and the Mind Expander Twin next to it. And when it comes to shape, this is a true twin instead of a directional twin like the Mind Expander Twin and Mountain Twin are that you see next to it. It's totally the kind of board you ride centered, you don't set back, and it has that great feel. If you center weight it, it rides really well, but you can drive a little bit off the front and back foot. But with the lifted nose and tail, I liked weighting center and trying to put more pressure at and between my feet more, and I felt that the board didn't feel as washy there. But it really isn't that washy. It doesn't have that like triple camber technology. With this, I barely felt that edgeless, washy feel in harder snow, and I like that. It's also pretty easy to skid a turn. I didn't feel like I was on a full camber board, and I didn't have that unforgiving full camber feel. I'd say strong intermediate to expert can easily handle this and skid out turns when you get off your game. Now, when it comes to edge hold, there is a slight disruption in the side cut, and it helps this board grip a lot better than you would think for its soft flex. I like it. It's great in those hard patches of snow. Might not be an ice specialist, but it's great for that snow mint that we see out west. Now, when it comes to flex, this is just soft for Jones. This feels like a yes board. It's got kind of like a medium flex between the feet, and then a nice soft flex in the nose and tail, and it's pretty consistent in the nose and tail, and throughout you can see it just has an easy flex and lots of return. The Mountain Twin and the Mind Expander Twin are much stiffer. They've got more of a mountain flex. But what I liked about this was just how playful and easy it was to access that pop, and it really did make my less than exceptional attempts at getting air better. I just felt like my average ass could get a lot more air with this than I could with the other boards that you see here, the Mountain Twin and the Mind Expander Twin. I just loved how this popped. I loved how this buttered to a certain extent. Sometimes the spoon nose and tail would kind of mess with me a little bit. Like if I was trying to really butter back, it would kind of butter back and then kind of slide out a little bit. But it's definitely doable, and it's something you can get used to because the lifted sides aren't too much, so you can figure out it just takes a little more work to keep the nose and the tail engaged in a butter in comparison to a non-lifted side board. And I love how it works in messy, wet, uneven snow. As long as I go slow, harder, micro bumpy snow, it's not bad either. And when it comes to pointing it, getting your speed on, it's not a fast board. Like, it's not for mountain speed. The Jones Mountain Twin, and even better extent, the Mind Expander Twin do much better at pointing it. But it's okay going into a, let's say, a straight line into a medium kicker or something, you know, of decent size around the mountain. It's fine for that. The base glide's pretty good. It's not exceptional, but I like it. And, you know, the base glide is good. Jones always makes a good base, and for a park ride, this has good base glide. I don't think it's up there with the rest of the Jones boards, but not bad at all. And when it comes to turning and carving, the turn initiation with the tweaker was medium quick. It turned where I wanted to, when I wanted it to, and it was very easy to roll edge to edge, especially in softer snow. And I liked the overall turning radius of this. It feels balanced. It feels like it can track well, not really on a straight line, but tracking into a jump. It tracks really well that way, but it can also across the groomer carve and circle carve pretty well too. It doesn't have that stiff camber feel that's so good for carving. It's no slouch though, and I like the spring out of the turn for this flex. And ride and switch, if you want the best switch experience Jones has to offer, it's the tweaker for sure, because it's a true twin with a centered stance. It isn't a directional twin like these. These are very close though, the Mountain Twin and the Mind Expander Twin. The Aviator is pretty close too, and those all ride switch very well and are very competent, but this is the best. This is really where it shines in the park, and I wish I could have gotten Nick on this, but he tore his, I think, ACL and MCL, and was in surgery at the time I got this. So we couldn't really have some fun park laps and get a really accomplished park rider's perspective. Unfortunately, you just got this guy. But this is the kind of board I want to take into the park because it's got all this pop. It's got this cool kind of like pop that's usually associated with a more technical, unforgiving, full camber board. But those lifted sides make this more forgiving. And if I could get the courage up to go hit the jib park and play around, I would have no problem going in with the tweaker. And I would love this on like small to medium-sized kickers. And I just think it's a very fun, playful park board. I wouldn't even mind riding this in the pipe. So overall, I think the tweaker is very specialized, and it's nice to see Jones rounding out their line and extending it towards the twin side, because everybody's going just super directional these days, and I just can't tell you how happy I was to be able to go out and get on a twin. And this is a very fun, very recommendable twin. Giving advice on YouTube is very difficult because I need a lot of info from you to actually help. So if you want real advice, fill out the Me Harmony profile in the link below so I can help you properly.